In African spirituality, it put emphasis on the ego and how to tame that ego. In my words, in my thinking is, for some of us, for the best of us who has that warrior, that fire inside, that fighter, that you can have that fighter spirit, us learning as a practice to tame the ego, to tame that beast, to tame that warrior within, right? To be able to stay calm and in control, but also giving yourself much grace, as there is a lot of programming, deprogramming and unlearning that has to take place. So while we are growing and while we are learning and things, also making sure that we're giving ourselves much grace in the process. And so one of the books that I'm reading at this time on African traditions and African spirituality, one of the things I want to read is a part of a passage in the book. And if you guys want to know the name of the book, just drop your comments below and I will be very glad to share. Okaran stands as the solution to the out of proportion ego drive. While the ego looks out at the world and sees it as its oyster, humility does the same and realizes it's part of a greater whole. Humility does not presume primacy, whereas ego demands it at the expense of others. When the followers of Ifa is led to the realization that the ego is standing in the way of spiritual development, Okaran instigates the cycle that provokes it. The ego must be contained for humility to rush into the space the ego formerly had hogged. The negative aspect of Okaran results from failing to balance emotions with thoughts. The first line of attack is balancing thoughts and emotions, strengthening the Ori and growing humility to its rightful stature. When humility is grown, life is renewed. We arrive at the understanding that our subjective reading of the world around us, placing ourselves at its center, is delusional. Here, we truly confront reality, looking into its depths to discover the truth, that we are part of something much larger than us or our restless egos. The next cycle of life is freshly realized as humility slides into its seat and begins to grow its influence. So if you find yourself struggling with your ego, and as you are growing and you're experiencing life, I pray that you find peace and that you stay focused, in your mental state, that you find the strength to be able to ebb and flow with dismissing and ignoring all of the things that might want to challenge you and pull you out of your groundedness, and provoking that warrior within. Much peace and ashe.